Now, the word eminent domain has been tossed around a lot. Do you think that's appropriate here for Jamestown?
I don't think so. I think there's other situations. There's other things that the city should be more focused on than this. Eminent domain is one of those things that will be drawn on. You know, I'm not the richest person in the world, but there's a couple people around here that own some of these buildings that are very wealthy, and they'll fight this tooth and nail all the way to the Iowa State Supreme Court. I hope the word eminent domain does. I mean, I know it's been thrown around. I hope it doesn't come into effect. I think it'll get ugly between the city and some of these property owners that are down here. I think it'll get really ugly. It's a very strong word to toss around business owners and property owners, and you know, because you know a lot if eminent domain goes in effect, you know, basically all our leases, you know, for the business owner, we're null and void. We get nothing, and even if a lot of landowner sells the building, chances are we'll still are. A lot of times there's a null and void in their leases. I mean, it's going to be a tough one, you know, if that happens. But, you know, some of these people have dumped a lot of money into business and this life, and then some of them just haven't. So I don't, you know, I don't know where they'd go or where I'd go from here, but I'm not excited about that word, but you just kind of have to take it with it. And I don't know how serious it really is. I mean, I know it's getting serious, you know, the talks to the city and Lane 4 and all that stuff, but talking with one city council member who has a business down here, he said eminent domain hasn't really came up in their meetings. I mean, that's what he's saying to me, but, you know, I don't know.
So, if you were able to pose, like, you know, a direct question or to Lane 4, what would you ask them?
You know, I'd have to really think about it, but
or if you ask a question to the city or the university directly.
why? You know, I guess the biggest question is, you know, to the city or the university is the students outnumber all the general populace. The city, I think the students are 60%, 65% of the city of Ames. You're willing to relocate them somewhere else. You know, you're willing to put their lives at risk if you're going to move to our district. You're willing to let them drive. Is this for your benefit? Because you're going to see the money from the DUIs and all that stuff the state is. You know, I think they're looking at after their own goals. I don't think they're looking at what's best interest of the students. What's best for them. You can bring in these high-priced restaurants and hotels. That's great, but the kids aren't going to pay for it. The kids, they won't spend the money on it. It's, you know, I was a college student here. It's like you go each day and you're like, okay, where can I get my cheapest meal? Where can I get the cheapest drink special? Where can I do this? Where can I get this? And where can I almost get it for free? You know, I remember, you know, going to Mickey's and going in there and eating free hot dogs. I remember going there and eating free pizza, or going to or hitting up the multiple places that used to have Buck Burgers along the street. You know, like Patty's and Sides used to have both have Buck Burgers. People's, when it was here, had Buck Burgers. We go to random spots to see where we get a cheap meal. And bringing in these higher class restaurants and these high-end shops, that's great. But, you know, the city of Ames had an opportunity to do this years ago. To build that new mall off 13th Street. They had an opportunity to do this years ago to bring in more economic development to Ames. You know, a lot of these kids, they don't go to North Grand Mall to shop. They go to Des Moines. Do you think a few shops down here are going to make a difference? I don't think so. It'll be a hot spot for a little bit. But after a while, the kids, they're just not willing to spend the money on things on amenities they probably won't use. They're doing it more for the adults instead of the kids. And this part of the town is the kids. They have complete control of everything that happens, really, whether they realize it or not. And that's my biggest question. Like, why don't you ask the kids what they want? Not what you want, what they want. Yeah, you're here for the long haul, but these kids are, you know, they outnumber you. And down here has to be amenities that make sense for them. That'd be my biggest question I pose to them.
Okay. Anything burning in mind?
Have you guys stopped from like doing renovations or adding stuff in because of the potential that your business might get taken, or?
It's one of those things that it came up because we've been talking about possibly wanting to do a remodel here, moving the bar back to where it used to be, or if I get the money somehow, like the upstairs, most people don't realize it's a beautiful room upstairs, very large open space, high ceiling room, and most people have never seen it. When those people's downstairs, those lumpies, hole in the wall dive bar with no windows. But upstairs, I guess, I'm not sure what years, but for the longest time was the Iowa State Ballroom. So it's a giant open space. I mean, idealistically, so like someday I'd like to develop it into something. I don't know what that is yet. And I'd like to redesign down here as well, just because this bar takes up half the room. And like I said, when I don't have bands going on, we're not that busy at bars because we just don't have a whole lot going on. We have the one pool table. If I could offer, take this out and maybe offer a couple pool tables, some more TVs, and add in that kind of sports vibe, like sports bar vibe, mixed in with live music. I think that'd go a long ways. And I have the plans drawn out and the costs all fixed up for it. But yeah, it's in my back of the head. Do I do the remodel if this goes through? Is it going to pay the dividends over the next couple of years for me to do this remodel? I don't know. I mean, and I'd love to see somebody, not even me, somebody comes and goes to me, hey man, I'd be willing to split rent with you if you let me develop upstairs. That'd be great, because upstairs I think there's on-scene potential up there, because nobody's really ever seen it too. So, it'd be a really good spot for whatever. It could be a restaurant up there. It could be maybe another bar. But if you could somehow co-line it with us, in the same building, kind of like go down to People's on Court, and like there's Liars Club, there's People's right above it, and you can kind of bounce around to the bars, kind of like there. Something like that would be really cool. Like today, maybe put maybe a dance club or some other type of bar upstairs. I'm not sure what I would do with that room, but yeah, it's definitely. Came across my mind. Do I do the remodel when I might lose my business as is?
Cool. Do we miss anything?
I think we hit it all.
Cool.
So,
Do you have anything that we missed? Or?
yeah. If you want to add anything.
I can't think of anything I'd want to add in. I mean, I think I kind of pretty much said what I wanted to say. I mean, biggest thing is I guess. If it comes down to it and the kids get to actually vote and we get a say in this, the kids need to realize, what they're going to be missing. Size Roos has been around for a long time. A building like Welch Avenue Station and Pizza Pit, those guys are the only owners who own their own building and their own business, other than Scott Davis, who owns Chasers Element, but his building's still going to be there. There's a lot of tradition that goes in some of these older bars, and they're going to miss out on. They're going to miss out on the stories that maybe they heard from their parents from when they were there, from an older brother when they were there, older sibling when they were there, whatever the case might be. But there's stories there. There's a reason why when alumni come back to town, they go to these bars, because they have memories there. And you're taking away those memories and you're going to move them somewhere else. Now you get to build new memories, but it's not the same. Because you can't be like, oh, this is the same place where my mom or dad did this, this, and this. It's just not the same. And like I said, in my mind, I'm wondering if it's the city's agenda to boost money for them or the universities. I think I don't know why. There's other routes they can do to revitalize Gibson, and I just don't know if this is the right one. The kids are going to drink no matter what. They're going to go somewhere to drink. If they have to drive, some kids are willing to risk it. And I'd personally leave the bar district alone here, and because what's here is what's working for these businesses. If it wasn't working, they'd be closed down. As simple as that.